We're drawing Picasso. We're going to map him. We're looking at this image of Picasso. The key is, how do we turn this into something that looks like this? When you draw today, you're welcome to look at this, but try working from this version. Now remember, this is going to be a thumbnail sketch, so it's going to be quick and fast. I like to start with his eye. I can identify a good dark shape. The dark shape continues into his eye, shadow on his eyelid, shadow around his nose. So here goes. This is Picasso as I see him. Here goes his eye. Comes down. There goes his eyelid. Line comes down there. Comes down his nose. Here goes his laugh line all the way down there. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here. So I'm going to have to stop right here and just backtrack a little bit. Here goes the other part of his eye. Dark shadow comes in underneath. Comes in underneath, comes up. This then now is coming up the side of his face and out here. Probably too high, probably further down here. Here goes his ear. Ear comes up. So a little bit of a white spot there, a little bit of a white spot there, and that's going to be his earlobe. So I'm doing okay. Coming up now the side of his head. Goes his hair. Here goes the shadow coming up the side all the way to the top of his bald head. Now I'm a little bit lost, so I'm going to stop right there. Come back in here. Draw that white reflection off his eye. I want to draw the white part of his eye. Lid not big enough. I know when I shade it in, it's going to get lost. So make that a little bit larger. Then here comes the dark. It's now coming down, comes up. And now it comes up this part of his forehead to the top of his bald head. And meantime over here, this now continues, and this becomes the dark now that goes down the side of his nose. And it looks like his nostril shape is right about there someplace. And here comes the bottom of his nose. Again, there's a nice dark shadow under his nostril, the divot of his chin coming down there. That's what I think I see so far. Obviously, it's going to really make a difference and help me to start to see if I just start to shade things in. So let me shade it in a little bit. Let me start to see Picasso, and this is where we all learned the trick. The key to shading in is that it doesn't have to be really black. It just, you want to try to make it nice and as even as you can. So here goes the side of Picasso's face. Here goes the shadow. There goes his hair and the shadow climbing up his face. And all of a sudden, I'm pretty sure I can start to see Picasso. He's already starting to work. Okay? So now I'm going to come across over here. Here goes his other eye. It's all in shadow. This goes down the side of his nose. Seems to come up and define the other part of his nostril. Comes down to the side of his mouth. Here goes the shadow up a little bit lower. It's going to be the shadow that separates his upper and his lower lip. Little divot goes in there, doesn't quite touch that. Comes across, goes down, tends to get more wide as it comes down. Under his lip, there's another shadow shape. Seems to kind of go up, and then it comes back down again. And then here goes his chin going underneath. Up the side of Picasso's face. I don't think I gave him enough of a chin. So let me make this bigger. Sure did. Let me pull this down a little bit more. He's an older man, so he has that little bit of skin underneath. Start to shade it in. Can I start to see a mouth? Can I start to see the side of his face? Doing pretty good so far. Here comes Picasso. Right in here someplace I do see a little bit of a white of his eye, and I probably see a little bit of a reflection in there. Otherwise it comes up here, and then it goes up here, and I'll be hitting his finger pretty soon. Not really sure about the white of that eye. We'll see. Yeah, I'm not crazy. I'm going to get rid of this. Okay, so what does his hand look like? His hand's coming up here, comes up over his eye. Right about here, I'm seeing some definite definition. There's a line, big thick line, as his bottom of his finger actually comes through there, and his finger comes and turns. Got a fingernail, top of his finger, here goes the next finger shape. Again, it's a bunch of dark shapes that are going to cast a nice big shadow. Really, really hard to see. Really confusing. What are the darks? What are the lights? Can I make any sense out of this? Here goes his finger. There goes his hand going up. This is going to all be dark. And I can start to see Picasso. Hands coming down right about here, and then there's a dark side of his face over here, and that becomes his shoulder. All that's going to be dark. I'm going to guess I might have made his mouth too big, or maybe didn't make his head big enough. So let me pull out some more hair over here. Let me make this shadow come up a little bit higher, maybe more into his hair. Bring it up a little bit higher, and bring that down. Let me just rescale Picasso's head. Okay, there we go. Picasso's definitely looking better. If I start to make this darker, it's going to make some good sense. Come up here. Let's get this last dark shape the finger casts up there, so we can just start to suggest that up here someplace is going to be another finger shape. And we get it. There's Picasso.